Charme, peace and freedom. Heruna Fair, good morning. Welcome, Mimi. I'm Reverend Dr. Queen Mother Imaku, and it is my pleasure to be here with you again to bring you Shanu Kemetic Living Waters service. And I'm praying that you're having a wonderful, wonderful morning. Reverend Tamu, I see you. Thanks for being here. Give thanks and praise. And so we're looking forward to having a really wonderful service as usual. Wow, I've got some I've been taking these new vitamins and I've got all this extreme hair growth that's going on, which is a good thing. That's a blessing. It's just I gotta do a little extra work now to keep it all tame. Listen, today we're focusing on gratitude, and I pray that uh, you're able to get in sync with the message, that you are feeling blessed, and if you're not, that by the time we finish, that you will indeed be blessed. And so please just give me a shout out in the chat if you are here, and let me know how are you feeling today before we get started. And I've had a very upbeat kind of a week. There have been some challenges in it, but you know what? I have to say that when you look back and you compare what you're going through to what other people are going through, that it can make you grateful. And it's not that you're sitting back and laughing or pointing your finger at somebody else because they're going through their travails. It's just a matter of perspective and seeing that, we've all got our stuff. Sister Lavelle, how are you? It's good to see you. And, it's something because I think of different folks like those who are popping in. And, we've been together these last few years online. And also I've gotten to know a lot of you personally. And we've gone through some stuff. And the pandemic has brought us through a lot of things indeed. But just from a personal standpoint, we've gone through growth pains. But the wonderful thing is to know that we are on the other side. And if you are making your way to the other side, I'm here to tell you, I feel you. I understand. I'm still doing work on myself. But it is a daily process. It takes applied effort. And it's possible. Change is possible. You have the power to change your life. Now, please let me know what the sound is like. I got this surprise before I came on because I said, all right, I'm gonna take a chance with Restream again because they put some Black Friday specials up there, and I have to tell you, they did kind of a bait and switch. All right, I get ready to go live, and then all of a sudden says, oh, you can't get this quality, at this price. If you want this quality, you have to upgrade. I'll deal with that later. So I apologize in advance if the quality is not what it should be. I mean, I told the different customer service folks I've been dealing with over the past couple of days, I've been trying to decide if I should go back to this. If, I said, is the quality better, et cetera, et cetera. Oh yes, yada yada yada. I'll tell you stuff in order to get those dollars, right? And so I'm just gonna have to upgrade. But in the meantime, I hope the quality is decent. If not, I apologize, because that was the biggest reason that I dropped it before. I'm like, I'm paying all this money and the quality stinks. So anyway, let me get a peek and we'll get started. Now, those of you who are on the Facebook page, on the Queen Mother Imaku Shanu Living page, do know that I can see you, but your name is not there. It just says Facebook user. So as you give your greeting, please say hello. Kim Sarah Nefer Atum Heru Nefer, good morning. It's good to see you. Thank you. Welcome back. Okay, let me take a quick peek just from a tech standpoint here. Business-wise, it's always good to stay on top of what you are putting your money into, I tell you. And I also want to share, we are going back into the active giving season, since we're talking about Het Heru. And she is compassion, she is love, she is giving. But She is also about mindfulness. And so we want definitely to be mindful of what's going on in our world, what's going on in the world around us. And during the pandemic, we had a very active food ministry that we were doing. And I should say that I was mostly engaged with. I was delivering food out there in the pandemic when it was advised for people who were 60 and above to stay home. But you know, you got to do what you got to do. So people were very grateful because of the Shenu Food Ministry, because of the fact that thanks to the associations that Shenu has with other ministries and other churches, we were able to connect and bring food from various sources to the building that we adopted, and also people in the neighborhood who were very much in need. And now, of course, food prices have gone up, and people are really having a hard time making ends meet. So we're going to get started again with our food distribution program, and uh, yes, it's very much needed. And so, if you would like to specifically contribute to it, then please let me know. And I'm not finding myself here. Let's see. You all, what's it looking like? Give me an idea of what the stream looks like for you. Neturu Ozain, Nini, welcome. Uh, this is saying live an hour ago. No, this is live now. That's so interesting. Oh, this is interesting. Somebody has my name up underneath somebody else. Oh, that's very interesting. Okay. All right. So from what I'm seeing on my phone, it looks okay. How about everybody else? Everything is clear on your end. Where are you watching from? Okay, you're watching from YouTube, Ken Sarah. Okay, Duau. That's good to know. What about on Facebook? How's it looking? Is it clear? Is it blurry? What's the sound like? And I see their music choices are not that great either. I'm just gonna have to Duau Abud, Duau. And the Cheret Sharem, Duau. I saw that you said that you were going to be driving and listening, and so I appreciate it. Duau, Duau. All right, give thanks. Okay, so let me cut the music. It's clear on Facebook too? Give thanks. Okay. We cut the music here. They've changed a few things around. The music is very, very low. Yeah, I put it low. Um, but let's see. So here's what's funny. Okay, there it is. Yeah, they changed things around. I didn't have a chance to play with it. There we go. Okay. You know what? Nibbin pets and top. All pathways of heaven and earth are open to you. How's the sound on this? The powers within me to open the doors of heaven and in earth. The powers within me to open our doors in heaven and in earth. I am that I am. am a shining being who lives in light, manifested from the lips of the Creator. I'm cool. Came by, kept with its around. Is it still distorted? Better now? Yeah, this time I bring it through the computer instead of from my TV. I'm just got to get a soundboard eventually. Hmm. You know what? Let me just try this experiment here, if you don't mind, just so we can set the vibe right, so that the sound is good, and so that we're not dealing with any more distortion levels. Let me just try again, if you don't mind, with my using the TV. I hope that's all right with you all. Technology. What? Heaven Petanta. All pathways of heaven and earth are open to you. The powers within me to open all doors in heaven. How's that? Earth. The powers within me to open all doors in heaven and in earth. The powers within me to open all doors in heaven and in earth. The powers within me to open all doors in heaven and in earth. I am that I am, a shining being who lives in light, manifested from the limbs of the Creator. Nook poo, nook koo, amiku, kay mam, keperu imnichorao. Better now? We all on board? Give thanks and praise. Be grateful for another day. Be grateful for your life. Be grateful for all the experiences that you've had because they have brought you wisdom. Be grateful simply because the fact that you are uniquely who you are. Give thanks. Giving thanksgiving thanks as I'm drinking from my love and gratitude glass today. Grateful, grateful, grateful. We say duau necheru, duau necheru, giving many thanks, giving thanks to the divine creative force, to the divine limitless creative energies that exist within us. You are limitless. You are limitless. Believe it. Claim it. All of the pathways of heaven and earth are open to me. All of the pathways of heaven and earth are open to me. All of the pathways of heaven and earth are open to me. All of the pathways of heaven and earth are open to me. All of the pathways of heaven and earth are open to me. You sing. All of the pathways of heaven and earth are open to me. Give thanks, and praise. The Elements, thank you. You're saying it's a beautiful song. Thank you. I wrote that song in, what year was that? I think it was 2004. I think I wrote that song, 2005. And go back to the meditation music now. We'll work with the meditation music that is here. Excuse me again. Let's go back. And let's see. Go back to my library. I like the piece that I had on before. Okay, here we go.
London Stone is having a Black Friday
commercial.
So when you buy a gift card for that special.
Okay. Give thanks. All right. And welcome to my home. Trisha, did I see your name up there? All right. So thank you again for your patience in this whole thing of this tech thing with trying to get readjusted to certain things. I've been doing, thank you. Thank you, Aboot. You have programs that you use and then they upgrade, they change, then you got to find out where the new bells and whistles are located and all this other stuff. So, but you know what? I'm grateful because the fact that I can maneuver around this stuff. I've been doing websites and tech and all kinds of things with the arts and technology for a long time, and always learning. But what's really funny to me is when there are younger people who automatically assume that I don't know. So they'll be like, "So, do you need help with that?" Or trying to explain something to me that I'm already, oh, that's you, Trisha. Okay. Facebook user. Okay. Give thanks. So anyway, I'm grateful, but I don't profess to know everything. So technology is a constant keep you on your toes kind of world system mode of communication. And who would have thought that things that I saw as a kid on the cartoon The Jetsons would be a reality right now? Albert Dow, is that Dowdy? Give thanks. Give thanks. Is it Dowdy or Dofty? Or Doughty? I want to make sure I give you your props and say it right. Okay, so let's get started. Many of you know this. This is a sistrum we call the Shesh Shesh. Open the way with this. It is the instrument of Heteru, of Bast, of Beset and Besu, and also of Nechemetewit, whose crown is the sistrum. And so we open, look at this, I've gotten my ring caught on my shawl. I got these really cool serpent rings from Amazon. Some people are afraid of serpents. They shouldn't be, because it is the original symbol for women and wisdom. And it is an antiquity symbol for sure. And it's an empowerment symbol. And we are still in the season of Renenet, the harvest, coming off of the harvest and going into what the world calls Thanksgiving. But for us, it is the beginning of Het Heru season. Now, Renenet is the cobra of the harvest. She is also represented as the nurse who is nursing a child. She is the protector of the Ren, where is Renenet or Renenutet. And the Ren is everything. It is all of who you are. It communicates to you and to the world what to expect of you, what to live up to, and all of the characteristics that you that you're born with and that you are seen with. And even if you have, most of us didn't have parents who went to a diviner in the community, like in the old days, and had a chart done and said, what's the child's name, and having the sacred holy person then come up with the child's name, but still our ancestors have a way of getting the message to us. I always say, even though that we're in alternative faith religions, that our names still have value. And many of us will try to just get rid of the Western name that we're born with because we assume it doesn't mean anything, because, especially for those of us who have the history of enslavement. And so there'll be people who will want to very easily just cast off the birth name. But I say your birth name tells your story. Your ancestors still have a way of connecting with you and telling you who you are. And when you get a Ren, believe it or not, I have always found that a person's birth name matches what their Kemetic Ren is as well. You have a reason for being here. And so look up the meaning of your name. You'll probably be surprised if you don't know. But even if you have a name, I always tell children, if you have a name that your parents made up, where they mished this part of the name together from this person along with, and mashed it to this one, still there's a story behind it. Okay. Find out the story of your name and who you really are. This is part of the wisdom and power of Renenet. My birth name is Elaine, and it means heavenly light, but it also means one who is holy. Same thing with my last name. My last name is Lloyd. And Lloyd means of the sages, of the gray hairs, of the holy ones. And so, and my whole life, I wanted to do nothing but live a holy life. Yeah, some things got in the way. Julius Lloyd is your given name. Yo, we family? So yeah, Lloyds are everywhere, especially all throughout the Caribbean. And my father's family came here from what was called the West Indies then. Oh, you're my cousin? Wait, you're Julius Lloyd, my cousin? Is that what? I thought I recognized your name. I know, Trisha. Remind me, okay? Because I'm so behind. There are things I'm catching up with still. I mean, it's always, every time I come on, I'm like, I'm catching up. But let me tell you, see, this is where, when you have, when you're in the place of repairing yourself and your life, then, you get yourself better, and then you can go and pick up all the different things that you're supposed to do before. So before, it's kind of like my life got on pause at some place. And so now the on button is back. So, give thanks. All right. Oh, let me see. Reverend Tamu says, I once had a dream that a room was full of snakes. I wasn't ready, and they followed me down the hall, asking me to come back. Oh, that's so deep. I wasn't afraid, just wasn't ready. Didn't see them as bad. I didn't see them as bad. Okay, but yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. I mean, I understand that. I had some elders who had told me before I became a minister that they had a dream of me dancing with snakes. Y'all know what I do, the mystical sacred belly dance, and, it's very serpentine in the movements, but they were telling me this because it was a prophecy that I wasn't trying to hear. They said, you're supposed to be an ordained minister, right? Just like, I'm not trying to hear that. But I shared with you last time, my birthday is actually the day before Dambala's day. And so, I mean, there are so many other pointers in being a child of Obatala, who has a strong relationship with serpents. And also the period of time I'm born in is consistent with the period of time for honoring Renenet or Renenetet. So, I mean, some people have it on my day, some have it like on the day before or 2 days before, but still in that whole period, what is the power animal? The serpent. And I have to say, in embracing it, that it has made a major difference in how I've been able to turn my life around, because Lord knows I've run from it enough. Try to run from a snake. One time in my yard when I lived in Elizabeth years ago, there was a man who was there to cut the grass. My landlords had let the grass grow so high, I couldn't even go in the yard. So they finally hired somebody. And this person told me afterwards, there was this huge snake skin that was in the yard. He said it had to be like about, what he say, it was like about 7 feet or something like that, which scared the mess out of me for 2 reasons. One, to think that there was a serpent that was that big that shed its skin in my yard. And I had a lot of people who are from the Caribbean, who were in my neighborhood. So getting interesting animals as pets is not a foreign concept. But then after a while, a lot of them decide to either let them go or the animal will escape. Whatever the case, knowing that it had shed its skin, first of all, knowing it had slithered into my yard and that it shed its skin, I knew it was a sign. Although I also said, wait a minute, do you have the skin? He said, oh, I didn't think about it. I just chopped it up when I saw it because I was so scared when I saw it. Those signs and symbols will follow you, whether they come up in dreams, whether they come up in person, So, okay. Let's open the way with Beset Ibesu, okay? Enk, enk, enk. Yunharech beset, Yunharek besu, ek yuni yunim katni, Anuk beset ibesu. Barakani enechanu, I bow to you. Barakani, bless me. Yun eni beset besu nefer iwadu nefer nebu. Open for me, beset, all good doors and good roads. Wep wat beset im wepti. Open the way, beset, in my business and income. Beheni besu embasa. Cover me, besu, with your panther skin. Behen besu hauni ihetnu. Cover, beset, my family and home. Sebek bet uni. Cause my enemies to flee. Duau. Enk. Our water prayer. You can go grab a glass of water if you'd like. Got my lipstick on this. Nukwenebu per emnu, muti punut. I am the sacred plant that grows from Nu. My mother is Nut. Webni, cleanse me. Wujani, heal me. Hekni, guide me. Jedni, speak to me. And you can repeat after me, speaking into the water. Anuk Sejemen, I am listening. Duau, many thanks. And now speak beautiful words into the water. As you speak these words, The water receives it, and then as you drink it, it goes and communicates with the water in your body and transforms it, and it programs that message to you. And of course, it goes to every cell and into your brain. So you believe it, blood and bone. Anuk Neferet. I am good, beautiful, and successful. Anuk Mer. I am love. Dini Ishesbi Mer. I give and receive love. I attract good things into my life and good people that are appropriate for me and will not pull me away from my purpose. I allow myself to grow, to expand in my mind and in my heart. I protect myself from those who mean me harm. I welcome all who are loving and who mean me good and who are not bringing off-putting energy to me. I am aligned with my divine source, and I am aligned with my reason for being here on the planet. Anukardi, I am safe. I am secure. I draw positive people into my circle. Duau. Let's drink. Give thanks and praise. All right, we're going to do the 42. No, I'm sorry. We have to do the ancestral. Wait, homage to Ray. Dware heftu benef. Emma kerab dead and pet. Anacharakitium kepri. Kepri kemam necheru. Hekwe benek. Pesid mutek. Hektium suten necheru. Erinek mutenut. Erius erit. Nini duare heftu benef. Emma kerab dead and pet. Enk. Let us honor our ancestors. Imchertu degasnu duau. To the ancients, to the ancestors, we follow your footsteps. Many thanks to you. Erchunuku, ernuku. You give us light, we give you light. Sechnu kebu, we pour libation. Ishkanu, we remember you. Keru renuechenu, we speak your names. And now speak the names aloud of your ancestors of light. And also you can call on the family surnames. Simmons, Blackman, Pridgeon, Exum, Whitley, Artis, Ortiz, Anderson, Lloyd, Yates, McLaughlin, Myers, Murray, Mosley, Salmon, Ely, Clyburn, Mayfield. It is a blessing to learn the names of your bloodline and to be able to call on them on a regular basis. Erdanu, Yunherek, Yakui Shepsu, Duau, Erdanu Rek Hek Hekau, Mer Neferet Hetepu, Urek Sekemet Anu, Anukutem Shepsu Nebu. I am a divine light to all of my ancestors. Show yourselves ancestors of light. Many thanks. Bring us wisdom, guidance, words of power, love, goodness, beauty, success, peace and blessings, protection, strength, income, gifts. I am the divine light to all of my ancestors. Sekinu, Sekinu, Sekinu. We are all ascending. Enk, Enk, enk. Give thanks. And I hope that you will join me each week in pouring libation at your own home. You can take 2 glasses and pour one from another, or you can get a beautiful decanter like this. These are what are from my ancestor altar, my Kaut Yakui Shepsu. The 42 principles of my 8. Yun harech my 8, dua my 8. Spernu my 8 hekechem herupen. Show yourself my 8. Many thanks to you. Bring us your wisdom and guidance on this day. I will not do wrong. I will not steal. I will not immerse myself in depression. I will not violate another being physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually. I will not hoard, disrespect, abuse, or misuse the land, nor deprive my loved ones and community of a rightful inheritance. I will not waste precious food. I will not waste precious water. I will not jealously desire to obtain that which is not mine. I will not eavesdrop. Please forgive me, my book got out of order here. Please forgive me. My poor book, I swear, it's been through so much. Wait, let me pull up one in my personal book here. Let me save this for later. Well, that's interesting. There we are. And how that ended up back there. We were at 9. I will not eavesdrop or pry into matters outside the dictate of nature. I will not defile or debase my purity. I will not abuse my sexuality. I will not engage in infidelity with another man or woman's mate. I will not engage in sexual fantasies or sexual acts with a child. I will not cause needless terror. I will not be arrogant and egoistic. I will not act with selfish, destructive aggression. I will not cultivate a quarrelsome nature. I will not take a life outside of my age, nor disrespect the life force. I will not cause the shedding of tears. I will not sow seeds of regret. I will not mistreat children and will provide proper guidance and protection. I will not mistreat animals and will give proper respect. I will not be vengeful and angry except for a just cause within my 8. I will not be easily incited to action or contention. I will not uphold an untruth on or against someone else's behalf. I will not lie. I will not raise my voice unnecessarily. I will not speak maliciously against another being. I will not exaggerate. I will not talk too much. I will not act with sneaky manipulation. I will not be impatient or judge in haste. I will not entertain impure thoughts. I will not wish evil upon another being, but will not stand in the way of karmic law, and will invoke my 8. I will not perform negative energy work, but will rightfully protect and defend myself in my 8. I will not turn my ears away from words of truth. I will not desecrate holy places. I will not desecrate holy traditions. I will not steal from or neglect giving to the temple offerings. I will not rob from the deceased. I will not betray my venerated ancestors. I will not blaspheme the Most High Netchir. The 10 virtues of my 8. I have control of thoughts. I have control of actions. I have devotion of purpose. I have faith in the ability of my teacher to teach me the truth. I have faith in myself to assimilate the truth. I have faith in myself to wield the truth. I am free from resentment under the experience of persecution. Let's remember that one for today. Kind of goes along with today's message. I am free from resentment under the experience of wrong. I cultivate the ability to distinguish between right and wrong. I cultivate the ability to distinguish the real from the unreal. Dua ma'id im medu catch. Thank you, Ma'id, for your wise words. We are now going to do our uh, official Wepwat Dua Debu, the opening of the Way Reclamation Prayer. Enk, enk, enk. Yun harecheru tepi yawi yaku, duau im erit ne bechenu, seteni enechenu. Show yourselves, ancient ancestors of light. Many thanks for all you have done. I pour libation to you. Semni, help me. Yunwatni, open my roads. Ta'er set sher bak sekau ches. Restore the ancient memory of myself. Anuktapi yawi yaku inanu. I am a returned ancestor of light. Imem yaku shespetni I eshemni em yama. Strengthen, ancestors, my roots and branches in the tree of life. Yunharech sishat, yamad sher unk, yuni yadech pet. Show yourself, sishat, sacred tree of life. Open your heavenly mist to me. Yunharek akeru, yuni besu emta. Show yourself, akeru. Open the doors of earth to me. Yun herech beset, yun besuech bekat. Show yourself beset. Open your doors of morning light. Yun herek besu, bakni besu em besu bekat. Show yourself besu. Protect me in the doors of morning light. Yun herech wunut, wuni waduech, wunut emta. Show yourself, wunut. Open your time portals of potential to me. Yun harek epwat, wepwadu. Show yourself, epwat. Open the roads. Yun harek inpu, hekni emwadu. Show yourself, inpu. Guide me through the roads. Heki heket eni, wuhe hatni, anuk wuhem unk. Fight for me, Heket. Liberate my mind. I am reborn. Anuk wajet, ini wajet waj nefer. I am the healer who bends energy. Bring me wajet, good health and abundance. Yunharek jehuti, ekni rekek emhetep. Nejni seshmicher. Show yourself, Jehuti. I enter your lake in peace. Advocate for me, peacemaker. Shedini, yun shetaut emiyu. Deliver me. Open your mysteries within me. Anechni nechemetewit, nehemni. Advocate, avenge, and protect me, nechemetewit. Save and deliver me. Wuhem. Anechni nechemetewit, nehemni. Advocate, avenge, and protect me, nechemetewit. Save and deliver me. Wuhem. Anechni nechemetewit, nehemni. Advocate, avenge, and protect me, nechemetewit. Save and deliver me. Nechtit ni, nechemit ni, neferet, nech reni, my protectress, defender, my beautiful savior and redeemer. Protect my name. Wuserit, herit, enchemut, hejenu, sejem, nechemetni, powerful and wealthy Netshurt, chieftainess of the oppressed and oppressed women. Hear my cry. Wuhem, Wuseret, Herit, Enchemut, Hejenu, Semet Nechemetni, powerful and wealthy Netshurt, Chieftainess of the oppressed and oppressed women, hear my cry. Wuchem, Wuserit, Herit, Enchemut, Hejenu, Sejem, Nechemitni. Powerful and wealthy Nechurt. Chieftainess of the oppressed and oppressed women, hear my cry. Shetani, Shed Em, Sebeshni Ek, Shedi, Ben Em Merkabudatek. Cover me with your shield, Shed. Savior, come quickly with your chariot. Worek ni shedu. Work for me, heavenly protectors. Mut neferet hatmeit merit en mesu nebu. Good mother of fishes, abundance and abundant and full heart, lover of mankind. Erdani meni mehit, dini ech ibi, anuk mechem ech. Give me abundant daily provisions. I give you my heart. I am crowned by you. Mani meni nehat, meni hati nechem, neferet, mani meni neferet, keni. Grant me mercy. Grant me a sweet disposition. Refine me. Meruin, ebdu I into pu inuech, shespi, lover of red cloth, the holy electrical abju and unto fish are your conveyors. I receive. Taneb anjati, pezayuni, anuk enti nensep. Lord Anjati is my shepherd. I am never in need. Jebek bani, you restore my soul. Nekuni emhekek I nekekek. Comfort me through your shepherd's crook and flail. Hekni em my et zayuna fair. Guide me to truth, harmony, justice, order, reciprocity, and balance, good shepherd. Yei wasir ertep isetek iamet. I come wasir before your throne of grace. Semi meni wunefer wuja wurek I nehat. Help me cultivate wunefer, health, wealth, and compassion. Sima katni simau, katni sema. I eat no flesh, I eat a plant-based diet, my body is clear. Anuk we and we, anuk neches. I am one from the one, I am resurrected. Yei iset ertep iset iamet. I come iset before your throne of grace. Webi iset emremitech, eri enech chatni, eri enech hauni. Cleanse me with your tears, iset. Heal my heart, heal my family. Semni nebethet eri ma'et. Help me, Nebethet, to do what is right. Dinisha isha em nebet. I give respect to your cup of mastery. Dinisha isha imkatni ibni I hani bani. I give respect to my body, mind, and soul. Keni yehuches. I have self-control. Sima katni zema nen. Sima katni semau. Katni sema. I eat no flesh. I eat a plant-based diet. My body is clear. Setekani setesh in sedecheknui ek. Dini ek shaisha. Protect and cover me, Setesh, from your storms. I give you respect. Sima katni zimanen. Sima katni semau. Katni sema. I eat no flesh. I eat a plant-based diet. My body is clear. Simai nu cherek hepi. Inenu tep wuchem im samai tawi I sema. Semainu as your aspect hepi. Bring us the new age of synthesis and transparency. Shamesh ni kai rek. I serve to elevate mankind. Anuk wuchem ang em meruek. Meni ikani em meruek. I am reborn through your waters. Let me dance in your waters. Web anket meruech. Yun ierud ech em imu. Anket. Purify your waters. Open your reed, your celestial city for me. Sima katni semau, katni sema. I eat no flesh. I eat a plant-based diet. My body is clear. Anuk ek Yei aku. Anuk we em echanu. I am the reed of balanced correctness. Come, beings of light, I am one with you. Anuk tepui Yahweh Iaku Inanu. I am the returned ancestor of light gods and goddesses. Her Yahweh En Iyun Wacheni. Therefore, Yahweh, God of gifts, bring and open my gifts. Wuchem. Her Yahweh En Yahweh Aun Wehini. Therefore, Yahweh, God of gifts, bring and open my gifts. Wuhem. Her Yahweh En Yun Wahini. Therefore, Yahweh, God of gifts, bring and open my gifts. Erdani Kenum Dudu Kapesh. Bring me, Kenemu, gifted hands. Zatni Zatit. Rudni Em Yunech, Zatit, shoot forth your fresh waters upon me. I succeed with your arrow. Debani nit em heb de sherech. Erdani zemaut zep. Nit, restore me in your red tent. Bring me timely connections. Seserni sebek I dudu. Protect me, sebek and dudu. Wurekni taort. Yatni her ipet. Protect me, Tawort. Nurse and embrace me as a pet. Tefeni tefnut em tefetch. Tefeni etch. Tefnut, propel me forward with your moisture. Tefnut, I appreciate you. Iri mek ort. Anki mek. Mekort, make my life full and well-rounded. Erdani nunhu. Nun, bring me limitless potential. Keper naunet anki em tepi nefer. Nepi nutech ishet imni. Nunet, shape my life in the best possible success, goodness, and beauty. Pour your wealthy waters upon me. Erdani heteru, merkai em heruech, merniches. Heteru, bring me higher love through all of your aspects. I love myself. Wuhem. Erdani heteru, merkai em heruech, merniches. Heteru, bring me higher love through all of your aspects. I love myself. Wuhem. Erdani heteru, merkai em heruech, merniches. Heteru, bring me higher love through all of your aspects. I love myself. Sekni sarkit, sarkuech, imakni wat wait, I Quebec, shaeshachesh. I gather strength, sarkit, through your snow. I honor distance and coolness. I respect myself. Erdani kebut Quebec. Segenu seshpetni. Anuk geru. Bring me coolness, kebut. Anoint my sacred white garb. I am self-mastered. Pekarni pekit. Anuk pek. Encircle me, pekit. I am upright, sincere, and prudent. Pekremu pakreru. Pakit pakru peshpakat. Work your enchantments in my behalf, frog, serpent, turtle shell, fish, and cast yourselves down and protect me. Duau netshort netcheru, netcheru. Many thanks, limitless creatrix, limitless creator. Netcherni, netcher netri. Protect me, divine life force. Iat yu nebu, nebukai, netcherhek, ankeru nebu. I embrace you all, ascended masters, eternal life force, all aspects of life. Iatni, anuktepi, iawi, iaku, inanu, embrace me. I am a returned ancestor of life. Erdani embukai, take me to a higher place. Erdanu embukai, take us to a higher place. Amen. Imenit. In, in, in. How is everyone? Let's take a few deep breaths. Sarek. Nifa. Sarek. Nifa. Sarek. Nifa. Relax your breathing. Let's just take a moment. Bring in clear energy. Give thanks. Okay, let's get to our message. How's everybody doing? Check in, check in, check in. Everybody okay? Trisha, I see you're doing fine. Naturu Zain, you're doing good. Okay. You're doing great. Reverend Tamu, wonderful. Wonderful. All right. So I haven't been on the air with you all during our seasons, but we had our Kemetic New Year the beginning of August, and that also ushered in ancestor season for us, Hebwegu, and that officially ended November 2nd. And we are also in the season, because of the harvest, we are in the season of Renenet, which will be ending this Thursday. It's consistent with when the United States has what is called Thanksgiving. And that will bring in Het Heru season, which is the season of lights, along with Nit. And Renenet is also celebrated, it's December, late November, early December, or somewhere around Christmas time. But we'll get more into all of that later and understand more about this serpent energy right here, and how it is something that it represents the life force, and it represents higher consciousness, higher spirituality, and living in a way that is pure. And I also want to say, I realize that in the prayer for the water prayer, I'm going to adjust that line where it says, I eat no flesh, because of the fact that, not everybody does. Not everybody is vegan or vegetarian, and that's okay. So, and that is not a requirement to be a practitioner of this faith. Some may think it may tell you that that's true, but that's not. If you look in ancient Kemet at the times, if they get a hold of some meat to eat, they ate it. Okay. If they didn't eat meat, it's because they didn't have it, or they were trying to reserve their rations. But generally during cleansing times, like before you go into an initiation or before you go into a special seasonal ceremony, especially for people who are initiates, then there's a lot of cleansing. And, in general, I can't say that we as KMMU or people who are practitioners of the Kemetic faith, we do a lot of cleansing. And that's because we want to keep the body pure. We also want to be able to be pure vessels so that we can receive messages from on high. The serpent is the messenger. And in fact, most people think of Het Heru as the cosmic cow. That's one aspect of her. But she is also, in some aspects, the sacred serpent. In fact, some say that Wadjet is another version of Het Heru. So let's get into this. All right. So as it says here in my book, November 28th, or the closest date to the U.S. federal Thanksgiving, is Heru Hau Duau, the family day of honoring gratitude through Het Heru. This is the opening of our Het Heru season. And so you would take down your Renenet altar or Renenetet altar. I decided to keep mine up this year. Yeah, I've got a whole thing going with my whole, I've got a multi-tier kaut, and with cabinet doors and so forth. And inside there are more levels regarding the sacred serpent and other guardians as well. But on top is my beautiful and glorious Renenet altar. And I have to say that I did myself this year. It's really beautiful. But today I'm going to pull out my Het Heru kaut. Now I have that in a special container, and it actually is right there behind my couch. And so I look forward every year to pulling out that. So clean your house in honor of Sekhmet, because Sekhmet is the other side of Het Heru, but just in general. Now, I mentioned that Het Heru is also depicted as the sacred serpent. Serpents, whenever you're dealing with any kind of serpentine energy, things have to be clean, okay? For those of you who are familiar with the Haitian Vodun tradition, you know that with Dambala, that you can't even approach the altar unless you're clean. I mean, clean. And you have to keep everything around it clean. So as we get ready to go into this season, in general, we're preparing for beautification of the home, but also another level of purification. Why? Because this is the last cycle of the year that is going to pull us into winter, and then, the beginning of the year where we're going to start a new year from the Western standpoint. So we have two times we honor a new year. We have our Kemetic New Year, but then we also honor the energy of where we're at right now in this time that we're living in. And there's a reality to that. Okay. So, there's a thing in many traditions where you're not supposed to bring filth into your new year. So that means people are washing clothes. You're doing all kinds of extra washing of the floor. If you're spiritual, then you're doing a spiritual cleansing with the floor, using all the various things that you can use. Some people like to use Florida water. That can be a little overused, but Florida water is good, along with putting some spiritual salt in, white salt. Make sure it's sea salt or either kosher salt, but generally sea salt. We're a water temple, so we use sea salt. Also, make sure that your mop that you're going to use is as clean as it can possibly be, even though it's going to really catch all this extra dirt. You can also, You know, it's funny because as you get older, you learn more and more stuff, and then you have to kind of recall some of the things that you knew a long time ago, or decide, well, should I tell this or should I not tell this? But anyway, you want to make sure that during this season too, as we're leading into the quote unquote Western New Year, that it's clean too. One thing, this time of year is really popular for receiving people into your home, entertaining, sharing food and good times. And so you want it to be clean, but you also want to make sure that after guests leave that you do an extra cleansing, not casting any kind of judgment on the folks that you hang out with. But it's still a good idea to make sure that after people leave your house that you do a cleansing. You can walk around with incense. You can do another light mopping on your floor. Make sure that you dust. If you have allergies to dust, then please cover your face with a mask, or if you're very sensitive to dust, or get somebody else to do it for you. Okay. If you have somebody that's kind enough in your life that's willing to do that for you because you have sensitivities, then by all means employ them to do that. And when I say employ, that doesn't necessarily mean pay them. If you're in the position to do so, then of course. But if it's a thing where maybe you can do an exchange, okay, so you can do something else for them. Or sometimes it's a matter of just honoring the fact that, for instance, listen, I'm 63. So I take advantage of the privileges of being an elder now. Okay. I ain't trying to be cute and pretend like I'm younger than I am. No, I've always embraced my age, and there are certain perks that go along with it. Yeah, there are challenges, okay, but there is beauty in aging and saging. If you are living a life that is giving honor to the wisdom road that you have been on, and the way that you carry yourself, hopefully circumspectly, and not like you've just been out in the club. So anyway, so there are people who offer to do things for me, and well, I'm not gonna let some stranger, or I'm not gonna let anybody come in here and dust my house. That's just me, okay? And I have dust sensitivities. Listen, I put my mask on and deal with it. Because see, if you let that, this is another thing to consider, because other people might be touching your sacred objects and so forth. And listen, that's not something you want to welcome people to do. Not at all. So, unless you have somebody that's like in your family that's close to you, or a friend that's close to you, that's another whole thing. But you want to be very, very careful about your sacred objects. I know that when I do have people who come in, like maybe repairmen, they find my house to be something of a spiritual museum, a temple or a museum, and they do act with the greatest of caution. Others are just baffled, and I can't say anything about that. Listen, I'm not going to hide my life. I'm discreet, but by the same token, I'm not going to pretend to be something that I'm not. So, again, being very cautious about who enters your home. This is consistent with the reading that we had for last year about being careful about who crosses your threshold. So, Heteru, she is connected to portals. Why? Because she is at every single level of the Aritu, or the chakras. And in that way, she is associated with the 7 serpents, because we look at the energy that is coiled within us within each level of the Aritu, or the chakras, as serpent energy, serpentine energy, serpent power. It is Kundalini energy. And each level has to be tended very carefully and not awakened too quickly. Otherwise, it can throw your life into chaos, because you're dealing with energy centers, and also the energy that you're opening within and without. So there must be a smooth working with the Aritu, and also an honoring. Now, the 7 serpents that are associated with them are said to have been originally swallowed by a deity known as Neheb Kau, who was considered the original serpent deity. in some circles. He's very ancient. He's supposed to be the oldest one that was acknowledged in Kemet. But then in later stories, they say that Renenet or Renenutet was his mother. So that would make her come before. There are those who talk about Wajet being the oldest, and here we have again talking about Het Heru. But whatever the case, I mentioned Neheb Kau because he was said to have swallowed the 7 serpents, and you can think of him as like Dambala. He is merciful, he is gracious, but he also is a judge of high moral character. He is associated with the afterlife and associated with Ma'at in the scales of justice. So in order to deal with him, then you really have to focus on having a really clean life. I mean, clean living. So this is why it said that he swallowed the 7 serpents, because of the fact that he is associated with the life force energy and, of course, the Eritu. So, Het Heru, she not only represents the sensitivities of the body, she also represents joy, good health. That's the Wajet aspect of her. Wealth. That's also the Wajet aspect of her, because Wajet is health and wealth. Wajet represents the serpent that is here at the brow, at the Wujat, actually, the first eye, and that connects you with your higher self. She is again, high spirituality. She is the tree of life, one of the aspects. The others are Nit, Sishat, Het Heru, Nut, and Yusei Aset, who is an extremely ancient guardian as well. But when you're talking about trees and you're talking about limbs, and you're talking also about the peak of the tree, going up high, okay? She is acknowledged as a sky goddess, even though people always think about her with water, but she is considered a sky goddess because of the fact that she brings you to loftier things if you allow her to. Just like the serpentine energy is actually is earth, water, it's all the elements, fire, but the ultimate goal is for it to become etheric so that you are able to grow, and also so that you're able to attract the best situations, the best people, and so that you are living on point. Okay. She is beauty. A lot of people know her for that. And like Oshun, was similar to Oshun, she has a mirror, but her mirror, like Oshun, is not for vanity. It is for your being able to do serious introspection as you examine what you see in the mirror. She shows you who you really are. And there are some people who choose to live in delusion instead of facing what's really there. I talked about being an elder. You know, there are some people who still, in their minds, are 20. I'm not 20, okay? I look in the mirror, I do not see my 20-year-old self. But I embrace the 63-year-old woman because, people need to really own and embrace the wisdom of the elder. Why? Because of the fact that the wisdom keepers were the elders and still are, if you're dealing with people who are truly living in their truth, if they are longer in the tooth. So she is ageless and she represents the span of time. But she also reminds you of what to be grateful for. Now, let me continue with what's here in the book. So, cleanse the house. You adorn the house with lights for Het Heru, because her name means Het means house or mansion. Heru means day. So she is the house or the mansion of daylight or of spiritual awakening. But Heru also means aspects. It means many faces. Her is the word, her is the word for face. Heru is the plural. So it means that she has many aspects, and she also comes in many guises, just in the same way I was saying that she's known as Wadjet. She has a lot of other aspects as well. Sekhmet is her other side. But when she comes to you, it is to test your heart. She's associated with Hatmeit, another one of her aspects. Hatmeit, she is who is of the full heart, the full breast. She who is the turn this down a little. Mother of fishes, the forerunner of Yemoja. So when she comes in many guises, she helps you to remember what is good in your life, to look at your character. You should have bit nefer, which is good character. And the way that you react to people, to her in her various guises, reveals who you really are, for better or worse. Much like Eshu comes, he comes as a trickster. With her, she's not trying to trick you. She's trying to teach you. She's trying to celebrate you and elevate you. But by the same token, if you've got some junk to work on, then she's going to show you. Some people don't want to look at their junk. I mentioned delusion before. People like to pretend that there's something that they are not. And I don't mean just going out of their way to put on a false face. There are many who do. But there are those who don't want to own who they really are. And so that's another level of denying reality. Because ultimately, Heteru, with her opening the light in her mansion, and the mansion is also, it corresponds with the mansions that are the Eritu, that were referred to by Yeshua in the Bible. In my Father's house, there are many mansions. Okay, well, it's talking about the energy systems that are the energy centers that are in your body that bring you to new levels of enlightenment. All right. So we put up lights, and it's no accident that during this time of year that people put up a lot of lights, whether you have Diwali, a lot of different traditions where light is used for decor. So also wreaths go back to ancient Kemet as well. A couple of years ago, we had a session where we made a ribbon wreath, which was very common for women in ancient culture as a way of showing solidarity, but also celebrating their womanhood. Usually it was red. Red is a color that's associated with Hatmeit, another aspect of Heteru, and also with Nit, and with Serket. So why red? Because, well, there's a certain reason with Hatmeit, my students know, but as far as the rest, it is associated with the celebration of the menstrual blood of the woman. Heteru is divinely feminine, and she celebrates her divine femininity, and she teaches women to open up and embrace that about themselves. But she also teaches men about respecting women, but also to respect all of themselves as well, and to celebrate all of themselves. So, because, we all have a divine male and female element within us. But for me as a woman, I truly am so grateful for being a woman and celebrating my femininity and womanhood. The trick is to make sure that you don't end up getting taken advantage of by others who just see you as some object, or who will take the beauty of your kindness and your character for weakness, and who want to walk all over you. So we'll be saving that for the next sermon, where we'll be talking about the story of Satesh and Wasir and Heru from a deeper aspect. So anyway, okay, so create a holiday tree of life, which honors the union of the Divine Mother and the Jed of the Divine Father, again, the male and the female together, and their family branches. Decorate with gold, turquoise, red, green decor. Now, she is also known as the Turquoise Lady. We've seen depictions of her in red, but she is also associated with turquoise. Um, you need an anku, of course. Hopefully, you have some kind of an ankh in your home. Jed, Jedu, possibly even many more of those, and Tekenu. Um, the Teken is the obelisk. So, toy money. And at this time, we retell the story, the five gifts of Heteru, which is a gratitude story. And we encourage family members to share what they're grateful for. And so let's take a look very quickly at the gratitude story of Heteru. Gratitude. You know, one way to find it, if you want to Google it right now on your phone or on your computer, you look up gratitude and Hathor. That's the most popular way that people know her, or gratitude story. Yes, the five gifts of Hathor. Hathor is supposed to be Hathor, which is Heter or Heteru. It's not Hatha. No, not the TH sound. Hathor. Okay. So basically, here's how the story. Oh, come on. This is funny. This survey pops up here. I don't need this right now. It's no problem. I'll go to another page. Oh, my. Okay. So this was done to ward off ingratitude. Now, it's said that there was a worker who was complaining because he and his fellow workers weren't getting paid enough. And so a priest said, look at your hand. Okay. Now, with each finger, name five things that you are grateful for. And so the response, let's see, they were grateful for. All right, that's funny. This doesn't have it posted. One I know is life. Let's see. Life, the wife, the children. Article. What I need to just do is just go to the image that I did a screenshot of. That's what I really need to do. Okay. And in this moment, while I'm looking for it, what are the five things that you can say that you are grateful for? And he said life, his wife, his children, beer, and his dog. That's what he said. Life, his wife, his children, beer, and his dog. What do you think about that response? Let me make sure I've got that right. Start naming in the chat what five things you're grateful for. And the idea is, especially with this, as long as you can look at your hand, you have a hand. You have a hand. My last hospital visit, I can tell you that it was very chaotic in the ER. And at this particular hospital here in the city, which just spent all this money on renovating the outside, there's a lot of chaos going on inside. And things that are broken down, equipment that's broken down, people's spirits are broken down who work there because the fact that they're not getting paid enough. A lot of people quit because they feel that they're disrespected. There's a new company that took over, and you can tell the difference between day and night. I tell you, they're trying to cut corners. They're trying to make it seem like, oh, we're all this, this, and this on the outside, all this grandiose display of architecture and all this. But on the inside, I mean, so I'm sitting there waiting and waiting and waiting. And they were so overloaded that night that they listen, they had a new section with new curtains, brand new flat screen TVs, and the partition curtains and all that. So you have a little section of rooms, and this is all supposed to be new. But they had no beds. Okay. So if you got wheeled in a wheelchair, that's what you were in. Okay. I tell you, people were complaining, and I was like, this doesn't even make any kind of sense. And then I heard this man, because they finally moved me to a bed. Okay. And this was still in the ER section. But, and it's private. But across the way, I heard a man who was yelling, help me, hello, where's anybody? Can you come help me? Can you bring me food? I'm hungry. Listen, I can attest to that because it was hours before we saw any food. And because supposedly because of the new owners of the hospital, they've changed a lot of things. And so they can't just go and get you a temporary holdover snack box like they used to, with a sandwich and piece of fruit and some crackers. You may just get a snack box with a muffin. All right. And a lot of people, they were making decisions as to they were meeting out the snack boxes because they didn't have enough. And here's this poor man, and they're hollering and talking about, I've been here for how many hours it was. I haven't eaten. I need to eat. Can somebody help me? Somebody help me with my bandages, please. It just kept going on and on. And I kept wondering, who is this? And so I finally got a chance to see. And the poor man had one leg. And the leg he had was swollen in layers like this. All the way down, overlapping his ankle and all the way up to, through his thigh. And unfortunately, there was an odor with it. He obviously has some kind, it looked like there were a bunch of tumors that were on it. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't ask. Wasn't my business. But I can tell you that the nursing staff was extremely disrespectful to him, that people were openly complaining about the fact that his wounds smelled. It was so rude and mean. And I remember thinking, I don't know what the circumstances are with this poor man. With some people, you don't know. They could be sitting in their karma. You don't know. But it's certainly not something where you should treat them with disrespect in a hospital setting, especially where they're supposed to be getting care and respect. Renanette is the divine nurse, and she is the caregiver. And so she is, along with Kenemu, one of the patron saints of those who are nurses and caregivers. All I could think of was the great lesson that was in this, because of, there were people who worked there, tech people, one guy who was doing transport, and he was openly complaining to a nurse there about, I'm not going up on that floor because it's not in my contract. They can't make me do such and such, who they think they are. You know, okay, you have that right to be upset, but you should not be complaining in front of the patients about the fact that you're on this floor and you feel like you should not be on the floor. You're transporting people begrudgingly. I mean, people had serious attitudes, but I kept thinking back to that man. My situation for being there seems so small. Perspective. Heru also means perspectives. Het Heru, the mansion of perspectives. How do we treat people who are suffering? Certainly doesn't mean that we disregard our own suffering. But it's important to realize when the conditions around you need to be changed so that the playing field is level. Because again, I mean, this man was not, he copped an attitude after a while, and I could understand why, and certainly sitting there with his health situation, you don't know what got him to that place. And you can imagine the frustration that he's going through, So, but you certainly do not need to sign up to be anybody's caregiver if you're going to be bringing all of your frustrations to the job and can't wait until you get into a closed door room with your coworkers, maybe over lunch or whatever, to discuss what the issues are. I am grateful to know that this all is happening, because I feel a responsibility in speaking out to the hospital, which I'm no stranger to doing. Okay, people aren't going to know how to improve situations unless you voice your concerns. I've shared this with you all in the past, and the hospital usually would, well, they've gotten to do this thing, unless they changed that too, but they used to call you to find out how your visit was. And I would say, listen, this has to change. This has to change. I appreciated this, but this is so, we have an obligation to make change when we know that something is not right. We have to be a champion for the underdog, and then also for ourselves. And it can't just be a situation where you feel as though you're being treated well, therefore you're not going to get involved. When you blatantly see disrespect and rudeness and someone not living up to their professional capacity. So you have a hand. This poor man did not have a leg. There are people who don't have their limbs. We have a war situation going on right now where people are getting their limbs blown off, quite honestly. We've had so many people who have been in that situation. So do you avoid, or do you dig deeper within yourself? Because each person that you encounter brings a lesson to you, for better or for good. Are you living up to your highest potential in being a decent person? Are you a problem? Do you bring chaos wherever you go? Trisha says, okay, while I worked at the nursing home, I heard a lot of stories that people had. It was disgusting. And I was passing out food trays, which, that's right, it wasn't your job. Trisha was just hired to be the receptionist, and she ended up doing all this stuff that was not in her job description, but they definitely needed your love and compassion there, because you actually cared about the people there. She says, but they were understaffed, and the STNAs, what does that stand for, would just walk around on their phones. I walked in on a dead woman, oh my God, who had a cup in her hand. And I bet she was calling and had been ignored and passed. Oh my God, that's so horrible. Oh my God. Wow. What's happening in healthcare today is disgraceful. But now let me ask you this, because it's important to find a place within yourself to open up the joy, if for no other reason, to keep your own wits about you, but then also to be able to share it with others who are in despair. STNAs are nursing helpers. Okay, thank you for that. Thank you, Trisha. So joy can be infectious. All right. I know that it's important for me to be able to have positive communication with people who are in overworked situations, and people often will respond accordingly, but it's also important to keep people in check if they're talking to you like you're dirt. But my thing is to make sure that I don't let these people pull me down. People try. People really will try. Listen to me. When you are carrying a lot of light, and Het Heru, the mansion of light, of manifold light, is a prime example of what we aspire to. Some people look at the superficial aspect of it, of, oh, I just want to be pretty. No, no. Listen, looks can fade. What's going to happen then if you have a nasty disposition? Nobody wants to deal with you. People will deal with you. Your looks will get you only so far. All right. But if you're a nasty person, then what does it mean? You're focused on the wrong thing. In Kemetic culture, beauty was based on what came out of your mouth. It's depicted with the heart and the trachea and the mouth. The word is nefer or neferet. It means good, beautiful, successful. What made you good and what made you beautiful and what brought you success was how you spoke. We talked last week about the eloquent peasant and how his being able to effectively defend himself without degrading himself, and by showing that he was someone who was worth listening to because he knew how to talk and he knew how to carry himself. That opened doors for him. Okay. Yes, there are some people who will resent you if you're well-spoken. That's just the truth, but that's their issue. Okay. But overall, your beauty is what comes out of your mouth, because that's a reflection of what is in your heart. And being able to find gratitude in your life every day, even if you're having a bad day. And listen, yes, this is not saying that you should be in denial if you're dealing with depression. In Kemetic culture, it is believed that you should acknowledge how you feel. You cannot effectively heal if you don't acknowledge what you're going through. I mean, it's no different than, say, if you went through serious loss of someone who was dear to you, or even the loss of a limb, and you went around pretending that nothing happened. Mourning is something that truly should be acknowledged, but what gets you through is to focus on what is still working in your life, what is good, what is beautiful. And this is a good focal point for you to be able to get on the other side. I'm a witness. I'm a witness. Sometimes you can lose your way and forget all the good things about you. But when you have a good circle around you, they will reaffirm all that is wonderful and right and wise within you. They will remind you of your accomplishments and remind you that you can continue to grow and to build. And they remind you of all of the strong characteristics that you possess. Now, if you have a really good friend or really good friends, and if you're out of pocket, they're going to tell you about that too. Because going back to the delusion, there are people who go around and cause harm, who live in a place of bitterness, and who are envious, jealous, uh, who wish bad things for you. It's a horrible thing. Now, I'm not saying that if you've been through abuse, I'm not saying that you're not going to go through the mourning stages and, and dealing with rage and all of that, because that's necessary in your healing process and it's realistic. But when you're able to truly get to a place where you are able to appreciate your life, yourself, and your strengths, especially because you've come out of situations that have been extremely challenging, that made you feel as though you were going to absolutely break or lose your mind, or because you dealt with somebody who was manipulative and who truly took your kindness for weakness and just continued to just pull and pull and pull from you. Listen, you can win. Heteru's light reminds you of that, and reminds you also that you should be proud of your own light, not from a selfish, egoistic standpoint, but because your light represents your connection to the divine consciousness of light. That's you. That alone should bring you joy. Yes. Because when you're a person who wants to do good for the planet, and not just for the sake of getting accolades from other people because they see that you're doing this, oh, I'm out feeding the homeless, or I'm out doing this, or I gave all this money to this organization that was asking for it because they know that it's going to be plastered up on whatever platform where their name will be seen. And people will say, oh, so-and-so gave such and such amount of money, but in the meantime, they've got people, you may have someone who does that, but then they've got family members who are at home starving. You don't know. But again, the idea of doing things from a place of sincerity, not to just try to create some kind of an image that will make you seem as though you are safe and that you are worth being around. No. We talked about Menku last week, the last couple of weeks, and how Menku, within Menku, it talks, which is character, okay? It talks about the importance of being a person worth loving. If you want someone who gives you unconditional love, that means you should be someone who is worthy of loving, and that you can, in Ma'at, reciprocate that love and not just act like some kind of a siphon and expecting more and more and more. That makes the people around you, after a while, disinterested in you. And truthfully, the real self will start to show. So we talk about accountability, Teni, and this is Heteru also. This is why she comes in her many guises, so that you can come correct, so that you can fix what is out of alignment with harmonious order in your life and also with your place in the world. What are you grateful for? What are you joyous about? Let me quickly share these praise poems to Heteru. This one in particular is one that is good for doing on her day on Fridays. Let me worship the Golden One to honor her majesty and exalt the Lady of Heaven. Let me give adoration to Heteru and songs of joy to my heavenly mistress. Well, that is, in the proper sense of mistress. You have master, the female aspect is mistress. I beg her to hear my petitions, that she send me my love, my adoring one now. And Heteru came herself to see me. What a great thing that was when it happened. I rejoiced. I was glad. I was exalted from the moment they said, "Oh, look at her. See, here she comes." And the young men bowing through their enormous passion for her. Let me consecrate breath to my goddess, that she give me my love as a gift. It is 4 days now I have prayed in her name. Let her be with me today. Because she also governs relationships. Please send me my love. Send me the right one. This is someone who was saying, I have all this love to give, and I want to love this woman in the same way that I love Heteru. Heteru, please, I'm waiting. Please bring me my divine love. Yes. And if you know how to treat her, if you know how to treat your whoever it is, if it's a man or woman, if you're petitioning for a mate in your life, if you know how to treat your mate, then she will respond. If you're abusive, no. No. Yeah, in fact, that's where they say an aspect of her also is Nehemiah. And she's the protector of abused women and children. So when you petition, be very careful. Now, and here we have in the Harper's songs, and this is coming from the book Hymns, Prayers, and Songs, an anthology of ancient Egyptian lyric poetry. And this is translated by John L. Foster. And I must say, now he said years ago that he really regretted his translation. He felt that he did an okay to a poor job. I think it's okay. You know, his translations are pretty okay. So here we have, it's about living joyfully. The forms, okay, this says, sung by the harpist of the Wasir, chief of the crew of the place of truth. Inher Kawi, vindicated, who says, I was an eminent person and a man redeemed through abundance of good offered by God himself. The forms which come into being as flesh pass on and have since the time of the gods, and the young are come into their places, the transfigured spirits who live in their afterworld, and those made into stars as well, and those who built their mansions and tombs, all are at rest in their graves. So build a great home in the land of the dead, that your name may endure because of it. It's kind of like sending up your timber, okay? Count up your works in the realm under God, so your seat in the west may be splendid. Waters flow north and winds blow south, and each man goes to his hour. So spend the day happily, O initiate, or O Osiris here, chief of the crew of the place of truth. In Herkawi, triumphant. Do not be weary at all, having what is dear to you with you. Do not harm, do no harm to your heart during your time upon earth. Now, that means being conscientious about all aspects of what you do and who you allow into your world and what they do to you, but also what you do to them. Because when you hurt others, it actually brings harm to yourself. Spend the day happily, happily. Take finest sweet gums gathered beside you with garlands of blossoming flowers at your breast. And the woman that you love within your heart, your beloved, she gives you joy as she sits beside you. Why? Because you are a team. You are one. Be not troubled at heart over all that happens. Let there be singing before you. Recall not the evil, hateful to God, but always remember joy. This does not mean that, you know, the whole thing, forgive and forget. No. It means that you do not let the horrible things that have happened to you consume you. Otherwise, you'll be stuck in pain, and you actually will give victory to the very one who wanted to see harm come to you and who brought you harm. O upright man, straightward and true, patient, kind-hearted, content with your lot, joyful, not evil, not speaking evil. Let your heart be drunk on the gifts of the day until that day comes when you anchor. Oh, Het Heru is also associated with fine wine, you know. Okay. And finally, I wanted to share, I wanted to pull up the prayer that I did the screenshot of. Go into my images here. And let's see. Oh, please be there. See, what I should have done was save it. That's what I should have done. And let's see. Oh, I know. I'll do this. There's always a way. Okay. Open. Thank you. Okay. I just sent it to someone so it would open. All right. Yeah, Tess, if you're watching, I just sent you something. Giving praise to Heteru, who lives in Thebes, kiss the earth for reverence to her in all forms. It was on the day that I saw her beauty. My mind was spending the day in celebration thereof, that I beheld the Lady of the Two Lands in a dream, and she placed joy in my heart. Then I was revitalized with her food. He who is wise will honor her at the seasonal festival. That which gives teaching to the people might be regarded to be pure food. That which gives teaching to the people might be regarded as pure food. Near the servant of the place of truth, Ipui, the justified, says, he's the writer of this, in order to solve the problem of rivalry, jealousy, and coveting her, the wonders of Heteru, which she did in ancient times, should be related to the ones who do not know and the ones who do know. A generation should tell a next generation how beautiful she truly is. Ipui has come. Brother Clarence, how are you? It's good to see you. Ipui has come. He has shared his knowledge of how he came to know the beauty of Heteru, the true beauty. She who will answer the call. She who helps you to understand yourself. She who teaches you compassion. She who helps you to understand others. She who helps you to live up to the best of yourself in Ma'at, in truth, harmony, justice, reciprocity, balance, and higher love. How many of you can say that you have come to know her in that way? Beautiful. She is beautiful. If you find her within yourself, then you know that you also are beautiful. Hopefully you're living up to the highest element of yourself. Hopefully you'll be able to overcome the challenges. We talked last week about overcoming challenges and come to this new place of grace and of security. She is also security because her other name is Jejeduit, which is the double Jed pillar. Most people think of the Jed pillar associated with the male, but Jejedit or Jejeduit is another name for Heteru. Double stability. Yes. How do you become stabilized? By knowledge of self. Reki im ebi. I know myself. When you know yourself, you know the people around you that you want to pull into your world. You know the resources around you. You know what you can, what you can't do. You don't second guess yourself. You do things in a measured way so that you're not rushing and you're not going into a mistake because you didn't take the time to investigate something more thoroughly, but she is also forgiveness for when you do make those mistakes. And let me just tell you something. We're talking about being an elder and the wisdom that comes along with it. The wisest ones are the ones who have actually made the most mistakes in life and who have overcome and are able to tell you how to uh, get past, to grow through what they went through, and even how to avoid circumstances. Sometimes we don't listen to the elders because we just figure, they don't know what they're talking about. Big mistake. I've always loved my elders and I've always loved what they had to share. And generally, it was when I had an absence of elders around me that I found that I made the most mistakes in my life. That's the truth, you know? So the wisdom, the love, the patience, the compassion, the truth, the desire to live in truth, the action behind it. Again, she is at every step of the eritu, which are the chakras. What is the root word? Eri, which means action, which means that you do something to affect change within yourself and your world so that you are able to live in my eight and come to a place of knowing and living in your own divine light. Let us pray. Divine Necheru, Divine Yaku, Divine Shepsu, Heteru, we thank you so much for your wisdom. We thank you for all of the opportunities that we have to live in joy and happiness, to also be in a place of introspection when we are going through our dark places, and also having faith to know that you can bring us to the glorious light within ourselves and also without. We pray that we continue to be vessels, that we learn how to be vessels in righteousness, and also to live in truth, and also to inspire others because of the light that glows from us, because of our joy, because of our knowledge of self, but also knowing that we can have faith and trust in the divine. We ask that for you to bless everyone who is under the sound of my voice, and that you will continue to bring us higher levels of living and to give us the strength to be able to live up to that higher standard, and the deep desire to live up to the highest standing and to live up to our callings. We ask all of these in the precious names of the Necheru. Duau, duau, duau. Enk, enk, enk. Duau. I pray everyone has a really blessed and empowered week. And let me also just quickly, before I close, because I want to give honor to those who shared that I didn't catch. Yes, Reverend Tamu, you were saying about being vegetarian for many years, but being anemic, and yeah, I'm with you on that. I counterbalance it with enough cleansing. You avoid the karma of the meat industry. Yes, that's true too. You have to make conscious choices about where it is that you get your meat proteins. Okay. And she adds, he's grateful for the most simplistic things, of the most basics, that there always is much to be grateful for. That's with the 5, yes, with the 5 gratitudes. Yes, for the basic things in life. We overlook that. There's always, wanting to have this and have to have this brand and all of this. It's a blessing that you are clothed, that you have a roof over your head, that hopefully you're in your right mind. But even if you're not, you can fix that too. You can. Sometimes there are people who will absolutely push you over the edge. Hmm. They will. You can question your sanity for a while. You could be at the very, very precipice, but people in your life will always pull you back. And also, if you listen, that faith will always pull you back. So I want to again stress the importance of therapy if you need it. It has been a lifesaver for me, along with the people in my life who care about me and who know who I really and truly am. And so I wish you all the best. I also want to mention, I forgot, this Tuesday on the 21st, I am having a program called Blacknificently Latinx. You can find out about it at my website, imakhu.info, imakhu.info. You put it up here on the screen. Sharing it there in the chat, and let me show it. You'll find a page called Blacknificently Latinx, and it's a celebration of Afro, Latin, Latino, Latina, Latinx culture. The X in this case stands for the rejection of the mindset of the oppressor, which has permeated Latin and Hispanic culture because there's so much colorism. I am so shocked because I feel as though when I'm dealing with some people, like I'm reliving my childhood. I grew up seeing crosses burned, and I hear some of the same prejudicial statements. You speak so well. You're so smart. Where did you learn these things? I mean, or people who just there have been people who have made it very clear they don't want to deal with Black people, whether there is Latin blood in the family or not, simply because the fact that they've been programmed to not like us. Yet they worship our gods, Black gods. I made a video about that. I'll be posting it on YouTube soon. The contradiction it doesn't even make any kind of sense. Division. Why? And I had someone who shocked me, who told me that he really felt that white Hispanics and Latinos were superior to Black people, and meant it. It's time for a new day. Heteru also represents the new day. Prejudices don't work. Ignorance does not work. Let us grow past that. And for those who are sitting quietly on the sidelines in the community and don't put your own people in check, then you're accountable too. There is a Kemetic scripture that talks about those who hold their silence are just as complicit as those who have committed the folly or the crime. So my program is a celebration of those of us who have the cultural background of being Afro Latino, Afro Hispanic, but whose families or the individuals who have been too afraid to come out and speak on it because of the racism or because of the blatant rejection of the oppressive attitudes. This is a celebration. So there'll be food, there'll be music, there'll be a panel discussion, and fashion show, and we welcome you. I'm asking everybody to come and just enjoy and leave your prejudices at the door. Thank you. All right. So everyone have a blessed week. If you don't have any further questions or statements, then I'll end with Ikanacher imdu wed sen yet mebu deseret dashemek duet sen. May nature or God be between you and harm in all the infertile, absent, empty places where you must walk. Shine your light. Be at peace. Uh, this is the symbol for peace. And then this is accountability, Tani. And Brandy, how are you? I see you. And we say Mkuten Mer, which means in light and love, and Heri, which means to be at peace. Until next week.